So we're just going to start in a nice grounded position, a nice standing position, sorry, grounded with the feet. Super simple. We're going to shift from side to side, mobilizing through the feet. And the sole focus to begin with is that connection of the feet to the ground. It's really easy to forget about the feet, but the movement through there, mobility through the joints, super, super important. And from here, we're just going to shift forward and back. So onto the balls and toes of the balls of the feet and toes, and just gently press down through there. We get this really subtle core activation to stop us tipping forward and back. So nice length through the spine. And then we're going to take it right up onto the tippy toes and press down through the big toe. And then we draw that back. So you may feel a little bit of kind of something through the plantar side of the foot, so the underneath of the foot. Right up into those calves. Again, a very subtle activation of that core center. And we should find a point, the sweet spot where we can hold that at the top. It feels pretty comfortable. We're going to do one more. We relax that down. And then we're going to take ourselves into a wider stance. So we're going to do a little bit of hip mobility. Okay, so usually this position and hip mobility, we work through the circles. All we're going to do today is just work from side to side. So hands on the hips give us this really nice bit of feedback to know that the movement's coming from the hips. Now, as we do it, I want you to try initially, try and keep that rib cage still. So we're upright through the body and we're just tipping through the hips. So don't rush the movement. Just want you to notice how that feels. Again, we're trying to keep as upright as we can through that upper body and rib cage. You can adjust the feet a little bit if you want. And then from there, we're gonna start to move through that rib cage. So as we tip through the hips, we allow that rib cage to come with us. So we tip through the hips, we allow that rib cage and upper body to come with us. So we tip, we allow ourselves to move over to that side. Okay, and the body's just moving in that same direction as the hip tip. So as it tips down, the upper body follows. Amazing. So from here, we're going to turn one foot out and we're just going to bend through that knee. Okay, so that nice alignment, knee over toes. Okay, and from here, a strong position with those feet, we're going to do exactly the same with the hips. So we're going to tilt and tilt, and we can, so just get that movement first, and then we can allow the rib cage to follow us. So it's that tip. And I want you to notice how it feels through those hips. Does it feel quite fluent, or do you get a sensation that the hips don't want to move in that direction, or does it feel a little bit sticky? Just notice how that feels. And like with any exercise, if you haven't done this before, it might feel a little bit awkward, yeah? Just because the body's just not quite used to that. Okay. We lift back up and out of that, bring those feet back to a neutral position, and we're going to go to the other side. So we turn the foot out to the side, we're going to bend through that knee, so we've got that nice alignment. Start with a strong position, and then we're going to place the hands on the hips and do exactly the same. So I know, for me, on this side, it feels different. So I don't quite feel like the movement is as fluent, especially as I tip away from the bent knee. So it's that awareness and recognition of what's going on through the body. And with repetition, we get a little bit more from the body. We get a little bit of more release, a little bit more movement. Okay, and then we're going to bring that back up into a standing position. And we're going to just do a little bit of roll through the shoulder, a little bit of work through the rib cage. Okay, so we're going to start super simple. We're gliding the shoulder blades forward, or the shoulders forward, the shoulder blades around the rib cage, and then we're lifting up and over and opening through the chest. We're going to glide forward, up and over, and open through that chest. So again, don't rush the movement. Really notice how it feels. It's a super easy way to create some release around those shoulders, shoulder blades, mid-back and rib cage. Okay, we're going to do one more of those. Amazing. And from here, we're going to take our feet into a shoulder width position or whatever feels good for you. That strong standing posture. We're going to move through the upper body. So we're going to work with one hand. The other hand we can place on the hips or relax it down, whatever feels good for you. We're going to reach out with the fingertips and then keeping that pelvis and lower body still, okay, we're going to reach as far as you can over and then bring that back up. So just get used to that feeling of reaching and then we bring it back up. Apologies. No, Tiggy. There's my cushion. Chew that. Okay. So now we're going to add a little bit more in. We're going to reach. Okay, so hand out. We reach. And we're going to create that arc so the hand comes up and over into the side bend. Remember to remain grounded through the feet, ear to the sky, and we lengthen right through to those fingertips. Okay, we bring it back out. We reach. So remember the pelvis remains still. We create the arc up and over into the side bend, opening through the side of the body, and then we bring it back to the side. We're going to do one more of those. We reach. We create that arc up and over into that side bend, and then we're going to bring that back to center. So with this exercise, if you wanted to add a little bit more of a core component to it, you can use a very light dumbbell or weight can of beans. Yeah. So we're going to do the other side now. So we're going to just reach those fingertips out to the side, and then we're going to keep the pelvis still. We're reaching further over to that side, and then we bring it back up. So we're getting this lovely movement through the rib cage. So just get used to that movement, keeping everything nice and strong and stable through the lower body and pelvis. And then we add a little bit more in. So we reach. Then the arm arcs up and over into the side bend, grounded through the feet, into the sky, lengthen through those fingertips. Notice how that feels. We bring that back. So we reach over to the side. Lift and up and over into the side bend. So I want you to notice how this feels for you, and you get to determine the range of movement. So it doesn't have to be a huge shift to the side, just what your body's comfortable with, and then you can ask for a little bit more with repetition into that side bend. Okay, we relax everything down. We're going to hold the hands behind us or clasp the fingers together and just open through the chest. So we're drawing those shoulder blades down towards the back pocket. Again, just notice what it feels like around the chest, shoulders, mid-back. And then we relax that down. Okay, so working with the same kind of concept of rib cage, hips, we're going to do an exercise now that combines them both. Okay, so we're going to take a big step out to the side and we're going to sit back as if we were going to sit into a side or take it into a side lunge. So we take the bottom back. If you need a little bit of a kind of a teaching cue, I would say just imagine you're doing a squat on this single side, yeah? And then we draw that back up. So, first of all, we'll break it down a little bit. I just want you to get your body used to that feeling of shifting the weight over onto that side and loading through that single side. The foot, put it in a position that is natural for you, that allows that nice alignment of the toes and the knee. And we're sitting the bottom back. So as we do it, we're trying not to curl through the spine. Okay, it's sitting that bottom back. Okay, so you can either keep it there, or we can take that into, we step it in and out. Okay, so again, if you need to narrow the stance at that point or narrow the step out, you can. But I want you to really think about the power through the hip and the leg as we draw it to center. Okay, so we're creating more of an energized movement. And again, it doesn't have to be a huge movement. So now we add a little bit more. As we take it over to the side, using the opposite hand, we're going to glide that down towards the knee. And then we bring it back in. So we step it out, we glide it down towards the knee. And again, we're still keeping a nice neutral spine, yeah? Okay, we're going to add a little bit more in, only if it feels good for you. Okay, we're going to reach over, step over, reach down, hand to the knee. We draw it back, and then we're just stepping that foot behind, and the same hand as the leg that stepped behind is going to come up and over into a side bend. So we're really opening up through the lower back, rib cage, and shoulder. Okay, we step it out. We reach that hand down to the knee. We bring it back in, step it back, and the arm comes into that side bend. Okay. We step it out. We reach that hand down. Step the foot back into the side bend. We get this lovely opening. So if you need to break any of these exercises down into certain parts that are best for you, then go for it. We bring it back to center and we take it to the other side. So we start with we're going to build it up like we just did. So big step out to the side, we sit the bottom back into that side lunge. Remember, we're just thinking about a nice optimal squat position with this side. Sit the bottom back. The foot comes into a position where we get that nice alignment of the knee. And we're sitting the bottom back as if we're sitting on a chair. Okay. We're then going to add a step back. So we create an energy of that with that movement, where we're really harnessing the power of the body to bring that back into a centered position. And if you need to narrow, create a narrower step out, you can. Then we add the hand in. So as we step out, the opposite hand glides down to the knees, crossing over the body. Step it out, the hand glides down, step it back in. Then we add that extra little bit. We step it out, the hand glides down, we cross that foot behind us, and we take it into the side bend. We step it out, glide the hand, step it in, and into side bend. Step it out. Into that side bend. Once more. Amazing. Okay. So okay, brilliant. So from there, we're going to take ourselves down onto the mat. Perfect. Okay, so from here, we're going to take ourselves as efficiently as we can down onto the mat into the forward kneeling position. Okay, so nice and grounded through the hands and knees. We start super simple in the cat-cow stretch and release. So we're going to draw the belly button all the way up to the sky, bridge through the shoulders, tuck the tailbone under. Then we don't rush this movement. And then we move into the cow. We draw the tailbone back, lift through the chest, belly button down. And those creases of the arms and the elbow, if we can get them to face forward, then that's incredible. Yep, the shoulders in a great position. We're going to go again, all the way up, all the way up, up, up. And then we take it into the cow, tailbone back, lift through the chest. Those creases of the arms, we get them facing forward. And I'm going to do that again, all the way up. So with the cat-cow, it's doing it in a high kneeling position isn't an option. Standing with the hands rest on the legs is also another good option. You do exactly the same. Yeah. So into the cow. Lift through the chest, get those shoulders in a lovely position. And then we relax back to center. So focusing on nice glide through the shoulder blade and rib cage. We're going to work through thread the needle, and we're going to do a couple of variations. So we start by taking the hand to the sky, and then we're going to glide the arm through. So continue with that. If you know that's not a great position for you, you can do it in a standing position where you take the arm out and glide it through. One more repetition of that, and then we're going to change that slightly. Okay, so we're going to take the hand to the side of the head. We're going to reach the elbow to the sky. However, what I want you to do is, if you can, we're going to take the elbow to the sky and sit the bottom halfway back towards the heels. We bring it up, and then the elbow is touching the grounded hand. So as we take the elbow up to the sky, we sit the bottom halfway back. We lift up and out of that, the elbow touching the grounded hand. Up we go. The elbow touches the grounded hand. So we place that hand down and we're going to switch to the other side. So start in that nice neutral position. Notice the connection of our hands and knees to the ground. We'll take the other hand to the sky now. And then we're going to thread the arm through and reach that through. We take the hand to the sky. We thread that through. We take it to the sky. It's through. Okay, so we'll move to the variation now. Side of the head. Okay, remember we're trying to sit that bottom back towards the heel, and then we're lifting back up and the elbow touches the grounded hand. So as the elbow reaches the sky, we sit the bottom back towards the heels. As the elbow touches the grounded hand, we lift back up and out of that. We take the elbow to the sky. The elbow touches the grounded hand. And then we place that hand back down. We're going to sit the bottom back towards the heels and take ourselves into that child's pose position. So you can modify this if there is a more suitable position for you, but the end goal is to be able to take ourselves into this child's pose position. And it's a great opportunity to take some nice big full breaths. Really taking in a nice deep full breath, expanding out through the rib cage. And then as you breathe out, just allowing the body to melt down towards the ground. So from here, we're going to take ourselves into a front lying position. Okay, so onto our tummy. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is work on some nice spinal extension. Okay, and what we do here is we're going to gently engage through the glutes and squeeze the bum cheeks together to ground the pelvis. And then we're just going to lift ourselves up into our forearms and elbows. Okay, and then we roll that down. If that feels quite challenging, I just want you to move up to that point where we're squeezing through those glutes, grounding the pelvis, and then taking ourselves into that spinal extension. Lengthen right to the crown of the head. Nice position for the shoulders. And then we roll it down. So it's continuous movement, but feel free to stop and have a moment if you need to. It feels good. Okay, if you can do more than that, if you want more than that from this exercise, the first thing we do, squeeze the glutes, and then we can lift up onto those hands, and then we roll it back down. So we stabilize the pelvis, squeeze the glutes, we roll up into that spinal extension, and then we roll it back down. And the body should be capable of moving into spinal extension, okay? Now, if you do have lower back pain or what have you, or you know that this is not a great movement for you, then just keep it small, okay? We're going to do one more of those. Relax that down. Okay, we're just going to rest the head on the hands for a moment. Just relax through the glutes. And just give that pelvis a little wiggle, and just take a couple of deep, full breaths. The next exercise we're going to do is a little bit of shoulder engagement. Okay, so we're going to start with the hands at the side of the head. So with this, we want to try and keep a nice position for the neck. So ideally, we want to be glancing down towards the mat. Okay, we're going to gently squeeze through the glutes to stabilize the pelvis, and we're just going to take the hands at the side of the head. Now, the first kind of level to this exercise would just be lifting the elbows across the ground and gently drawing them towards the sky. And then we would lower those elbows down, reset, and we go again. We take the elbows up towards the sky, engage through the shoulders, and then we lower that back down. Okay, we want a little bit more from it. We're going to lift through the elbows, draw the elbows towards the sky, and then we're going to reach those hands forward above the head. You're a little bit unsure of that direction, just take a look at the video. Okay, so the arms are overhead, next to the ears, and then we're going to draw those hands back and lower the elbows down. So you can almost use the elbows as a resting point on the ground. We go again. A little squeeze through the glutes to stabilize the pelvis, a little bit of tensioning through the core center. We take the elbows to the sky. And remember, this next bit is optional. If you don't feel ready for it, you don't need to do it. We glide the hands forward. The arms are kind of in alignment with the ears. We reach through those fingertips. We draw the hands back to the ears. And then we prop ourselves up with those elbows. Just give us a moment to rest. We're going to do one more repetition. Okay, gentle squeeze the glutes, gentle tensioning through the core. Lift the elbows towards the sky. Reach those fingertips forward. Palms are facing one another. Draw the elbows, the hands back to the ears. Rest those elbows down. Amazing. Again, just take a moment to rest the head on the hands. Relax through the pelvis. Give it a little wiggle. And from there, we're going to use the hands to press ourselves up and out of that position. And once again, we're going to return to that child's pose position. So for spinal flexion this time. So we get this nice curve through the lower back. Again, if you need to modify this, you can. We breathe out nice big full breaths. We take the opportunity to focus on the breath. And just to let go of any tension you may be holding on to. Okay, so from here we bring ourselves up and we're going to take ourselves into a high kneeling position. So the alternative to high kneeling with this exercise would be doing it in a standing position with staggered stance. Okay, so you can do exactly the same thing, but standing if kneeling is an issue. So if we are in the kneeling position, I quite like the back foot flat, so the top of the foot on the ground, so I can gently press down through the back, through the lower leg to increase stability. Okay, we want the hips facing forward, and we're just going to gently scoop the tailbone under. So it's the same teaching cues as if you're in standing as if you're in kneeling. Okay, so from here we should start to feel that nice opening through the hip and everything working a little bit to stabilize this position. Okay, lengthen right to the crown of the head. We're going to use the hand, same side as the back leg, okay? And this hand is going to reach forward. So we're going to reach all the way forward, reach, 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 reach. And then we're going to draw that back up. We bring the elbow back. And you can see from here, I'm opening through the pelvis. The knee is still in alignment with the toes. And then if we can, we're going to extend that arm back and just reach those fingertips backwards. Okay, we're going to go again. So we create that nice forward position of the hips. We're going to reach forward, 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 forward. Bring it back up. We draw the elbow back, opening through the hips, and then we extend that hand back. We want a little bit more from this. You can just gently reach further back. Okay, we're going to do one more on this side. So we draw it all the way forward. We reach, 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 reach. Remember, exactly the same if you're in a standing position. Open the hips. Elbow back, we reach that hand back, and if we want a little bit more from it, we gently reach back. We bring it back up to center, and we're going to switch to the other side. You know how to get in the way, don't you? Okay, so the other side, same position, and if you can, it's that nice kind of flat top of the foot onto the ground. Gently press down through the lower leg. Tuck the tailbone under, lengthen through the spine. We're using the same hand as the back leg. So my right leg's back, my right hand's going to reach forward. We're going to reach forward, all the way forward, 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 forward. And then we're going to draw that back up. Elbow back, open through those hips. And we're going to extend that hand back if we can. Remember that front leg doesn't move. Okay, and then we're going to go again. You reach all the way forward. We draw it back up. Elbow back. We open through those hips. And we reach those fingertips back. If we want a little bit more, we can reach that back a little bit. So again, it's a single-sided exercise. So for my body, I know that actually I feel a little bit more restricted as I draw that elbow back and I open the hips on this side. Yeah. And what we've got to recognize is everybody has their imbalances. But recognizing that and doing exercises to help create balance is a really great thing to do. We draw the elbow back, we open through those hips, we take the hand back, and then if we want a little bit more from that, we can reach that back. Okay, we bring it back to center, and we're going to take ourselves into a seated position. Okay. We're going to place those feet together, okay? And again, first thing we're going to notice is the connection of the feet together. We can use the hands either to support the ankles or support the body through holding the ankles, or we can place the hands down behind us. Now, a really nice way of doing this is to support your back against a wall or a cupboard. Okay, and that means you can really focus on the mobility through the hips. Okay, so from here we are going to butterfly the legs. So I find this easier by taking the hands down behind me. Remember, we're not gripping through the shoulders, so we create that length through the neck. Okay, and then we're going to lift the knees up, and then draw them down. We're going to lift them up, diggy wiggy wiggle, and draw them down. We're going to lift them up and draw them down. Okay, so again, maintaining length through the spine. We're just working on that lovely mobility through the hips. The amount of people I see really struggle with the cross-leg position. Yeah, because we just don't do it. We do it as children, just don't do it as adults. Okay, really nice position for the hips. So this is a great exercise to help with that mobility. Okay, so from here, we're going to cross those legs. Ideally, we want, like, the end goal is to be able to relax them down and for it to feel comfortable. We're grounding through the seat bones, lengthening through the spine. Again, if it's not comfortable and we're here, you can use a wall or a cupboard or whatever to support the back. Okay, from here, we're just going to slide those fingertips to the sky. We're going to scissor the arms, and this front hand comes across the body onto the outside of the opposite leg. The back hand comes down to support us on the ground. And we use the hands as a little bit of overpressure as we take our glance over our shoulder to create that nice rotation through the spine. We take a couple of big full breaths in this position. And then we bring it back to center. And we're going to go to the other side. So we take those fingertips to the sky. We scissor the arms. We're going to bring that hand across to the opposite leg, onto the outside of the opposite leg. Fingertips down to the ground. And we're just going to glance over to the back shoulder. Use the hands as a little bit of overpressure. And take a moment to breathe. Amazing. We bring that back to center. Okay, so we're going to take a split leg position now. Okay, so wide feet at the front, knees bent, we lower them down over to one side. Okay, so a similar exercise to what we've just done in high kneeling position. Again, incredible for the hips, moves up into that rib cage. So the same hand as the back foot, so the one that can touch the back foot, is going to reach forward in the direction of the front knee. The other hand, we can use that to stabilize us, and we reach all the way forward. We create an arc, so the hand comes up and over, and then we rotate that back. Okay, if you want to make this more challenging, the supporting hand can come up behind the back. Okay, we reach in the direction of that front knee, and we reach as far forward as we can. We create that arc, up and over, and then we draw the hand back. Okay, we're going to do one more. We glide it all the way forward. We lift the hand up and over. We take it back. We switch the legs to the opposite side. Okay, so that Z leg position. The hand that can touch the back foot is the one that's moving. So we can use the other hand to support us. We're going to glide the hand forward in the direction of the front knee. And then we create the arc up and over with the hand and arm. And we rotate that back. If we want a little bit more, make it a bit more challenging. The supporting hand comes behind the back. We reach all the way forward. Lift it up and over. And we take that hand back. Now I can really feel the difference by taking away the support element of the hand. Yeah, so it just makes this exercise more challenging. We're going to do one more. We reach all the way. Lift up and over. And then we're going to bring ourselves into that seated position. We're just going to place those feet out in front of us, take hold of the hamstrings, and we're just going to roll everything back and just hug the knees towards the chest. Give them a little massage, or give them a little wiggle, massage that lower back into the mat. Okay, amazing. So we're going to take both feet down and we're going to take the arms out to the side. So first of all, we'll start super simple. We'll lower the knees over to one side, keeping the shoulders grounded. We roll back to center and we take it over to the other side. So as we do this, it's a release and mobility exercise. But as you draw the knees back to center, I want you to think about a gentle engagement through the core center, okay? The tummy muscles. And you can also incorporate your breath to the movement. That really creates a nice energy and a nice feel to the exercise. Okay, so to make this a little bit more challenging today, to add a little bit more of something to it, we're going to straighten the top leg. So it adds a little bit more overpressure to help us create a slightly bigger movement, okay? So it just takes us a little bit further into that rotation. No, it's you this time. What are you doing, kiddo? Okay, so I really like the feeling of this one. I just get a bit more release, a bit more stretch and release. So if you know that the back doesn't particularly like rotation, just stick to the first variation of this, that rotation without straightening the top leg. And remember, those shoulders are grounded. Okay, amazing. So from here, I don't know what I'm going to do with. What can I do from here? Not very much. Okay, from here, we're going to straighten through one leg and we're going to draw one knee to the chest. Okay, this is an exercise we usually do as more of a static hold, as stretch and release. But today we're going to do it as a continuous movement. So one knee to the chest, the opposite hand is going to draw the knee across the body, and the other arm is going to move out to the side. And we're going to use that leg as a lever just to again get that nice rotation. From here, we're going to draw back up. Now there's two ways of doing this. If we want a more supportive way, we place that foot down before we switch to the other side. Okay, knee to the chest, use the opposite hand to draw the knee across the body, the other arm moves out to the side. Okay, in a more supportive way, we place that foot down and then we switch to the other side. If you want to challenge the body a little bit more, the transition is the key to this. So as you move from one side to the other, okay, the other leg lifts up and then we switch to the other side. Yep, so we don't ground the foot first, the transition happens in midair. Okay, so in core engagement, we switch legs in the air, we move over to the side. Okay, through the transition, we switch legs in midair. And then we take it over. So you get to choose which one. So we're incorporating a little bit of core engagement into a stretch and release exercise. We're going to do one more on each side. And the key is, you know, we're looking at creating a really nice, smooth exercise. Amazing. Okay, so from here, we're going to just turn over onto our side. And we're going to either use a cushion to support the head, or we can bend through that elbow and kind of tuck the arm in to create a cushion with our arm. Okay, so from here, we're going to take the spine into a slightly kind of rotated position. So we're going to bring both knees bent, the front leg comes forward, the top leg comes forward, the bottom leg remains where it is, and we've just got a very gentle kind of twist through the spine and through the hips. We're just going to hold this position for a moment. If we want more from this, we can take hold of the underneath foot, okay? And the goal from here is to be able to settle down through the head, neck, and shoulders, and to draw the foot back towards the ground. And this is a position where you do really need to take the time to breathe and to relax. Okay, and then the body will give you that little bit more. Okay, alternatively, if it's not a great position for you, what you can do is place a cushion underneath the front knee to neutralize the pelvis a little bit more. So find what works for you. We relax down and we're going to switch to the other side. Okay, so we're going to cradle the head with the arm or relax the head on a cushion, whatever works best. We've got both knees bent and the top knee comes forward and relaxes down onto the ground. Okay, so both knees are bent, kind of like a running position if we were in midair. Okay, so you can either just hold this position. We just ask for a little bit of rotation through that spine. If that's too much, you can place a cushion under the knee just to kind of neutralize the pelvis a little bit more. If you want more from it, we take hold of the underneath foot. So you can see I'm lifting up through the head, neck, and shoulders. The arm is supporting me. We take hold of the underneath foot. And the goal is to be able to relax the head, neck, and shoulders down and to draw that bottom foot down towards the ground. And again, it's really important we just breathe and relax into this position, because then the body will generally tend to give us a little bit more movement. Okay, relax down and we're going to take ourselves into a nice comfortable position. We're going to take a few moments to breathe to set us up really nicely for the day. And we can really have a physiological impact on the body by being aware of our breath and changing it to influence the body, whether that's creating a sense of alertness or creating a sense of calm. So the first thing we're going to do is notice the breath. It's quite easy if we're feeling a bit hectic, busy, stressed, worried, anxious, all of those things, for it to become a shorter, shallower breath, the natural response of the body. So we're going to really think about creating a deep, full breath. And as you breathe in, I want you to imagine you're filling your body with air right down to your pelvis. We get a nice expansion out through the rib cage. We get a nice gentle rise through the tummy. And then as you breathe out, we're just going to relax the body down to the ground. Let go of any tension. And notice if there's any part of the body that feels like it's carrying extra tension. So although we really want to think about a nice rhythmical breath, there has to be an element of flexibility to that as well. So if you find that it's quite nice to create a pause between the breath in and out, the breath in and out, and the breath out and in, you can do that. We're looking to create a comfortable, relaxed breathing pattern. And one thing I'd really like you to do is to subtly lengthen the breath out. And if the mind starts to wander, we acknowledge our thought and we bring ourselves back to our breath. That nice visualization is to place your thought on a cloud and allow that cloud to float away. Just want you to notice any sounds around you, any sensations on the skin. Notice how that breath feels through the nose, throat, down into your chest and lungs, all the way down to your tummy and pelvis. From there, we're just going to give the fingers a wiggle, the toes a wiggle. Let's take a moment to either stay still and breathe, or you can start to move in a way that you feel would be most beneficial for your body right now. And then when you're ready, we're going to bring ourselves into the seated position. We're going to take those legs out in front of us, hands grounded behind us. Just make sure we're not gripping through the hips and legs. Open through the chest. We're done and twisted.